My name's Ryan, as he mentioned, and I'm on the enterprise sales team here with AnswerRocket. And today we're going to be talking to you about our product, AnswerRocket, and our newest product offering, Max.ai. And so we've been in the augmented analytics space for the last 10 years, helping our enterprise customers with this specific problem, right? It all starts with a dashboard. Business people are looking at dashboards constantly. And when they see something has changed, they have additional questions, right? So they go find an analyst and they say, hey, help me understand why our sales are up or down, or I'm losing market share. And the process that goes along with that is what we call the vicious cycle. So you have to go pull a bunch of data, you bring it together, you put it into visualizations, you start to generate insights and narratives, and you probably put it in a PowerPoint that you send to your boss, right? And as soon as you answer that one question, 4 or 5 more questions pop up, and your analyst ends up in this cycle. And it's time constrained, it's not standardized, and a lot of times you're waiting maybe hours if you're lucky, if it's not super complex, but maybe days or weeks if the question is a little bit more complex. So that's really the problem we set out to solve 10 years ago. And we've been using natural language processing, natural language generation, and kind of automated visualizations to do that. And then back in November with GPT hitting the market, we saw a great opportunity to make that even better. And so Max.ai is our AI-powered analyst for business people. It's conversational in nature because it's powered by LLMs. It's connected to your enterprise data, so it understands your business and the physics behind how your business operates. And it's also powered by analytical skills that we call them. And it could be something like an AI or machine learning model in the background that's running based on the question that you're asking. It's also safe and secure, so we're integrating with things like Azure's Enterprise OpenAI API to do that. And here is a quick demo of it running in action that I recorded last week. So we have this interface here. We have some different data sets that I can choose from, things like, hey, I want to look at S&P 500 data, or the data that we're going to look at here, which is our pasta data, if the demo will play for me. So as I've selected on the bottom right-hand side the data set that I want to analyze, I can start to interact with the chat window and say, maybe I have a really broad question. How did the pasta category do last year? Right? There's a lot of things that go into understanding performance of an entire category of products here in the US. And what GPT is doing is starting to pull out intent of my question and pass parameters into the AnswerRocket analytical engine. Now we're generating this unstructured article about structured data that might be sitting in Redshift or Snowflake somewhere, your enterprise data warehouse, and generating all of these insights in this narrative that business users can use to understand how their business is performing. It's also going to generate the supporting data, right, so that you understand where this information came from. And here it's telling me that the 16-ounce pack size and shortcut and filled pasta were the top drivers of this growth in the category. And because it's an LLM and I'm having a conversation, I can actually ask follow-up questions and continue to have the conversation without passing parameters in the next question. So I can say, hey, Max, I want you to trend that for me. I've got all the aggregated data for the year, but I want to look at how that changed over all of 2022 and the months of data we have. And so now we're running a different skill. The previous one was a driver analysis type skill. This is more going to be looking at trends and forecasting and understanding predictive information. And now we're looking at how that played out over the year instead of kind of what was the summary of the entire year. And I've got a different visualization that I can now interact with, and I've got a new article. As users start to build out these articles, they go into a knowledge repository and can be combined with other data sources, maybe PDFs or PowerPoints. The unstructured layer becomes the common denominator between structured data and unstructured data. And here, maybe I want to look at who the big players were in the market, so I can say, hey, I want you to break this out by the top manufacturers.
Mike Finley, CTO, working with Ryan. So as it's going through producing this next answer for us, and keep in mind that the prompt itself was full of facts that we were able to extract from the database, but not just raw data, things like what were the outliers, what were the key turning points that occurred in the trend over time. The language model is producing what it does really well, which is that interactive text. We're then taking that text and reflecting on it to make sure that nothing in there is hallucinated. So we'll turn all the facts that are in there blue. We'll leave things that are not facts in the baseline color, so you can tell right away what the lineage of any number that you see in there is, and really truly be able to trust the result that you're getting.
And with that, we're at time, so I will open it up for questions. And the QR code is a way to sign up for early access to Max.
I'll just get us started. This looks a lot like ThoughtSpot, narrative science from Tableau, or any of similar kind of GPT options inside a BI tool. When you're confronted with that objection by a customer, why is this different and better? I'm sure you're getting hit by that all the time.
Yeah, I'll answer first. Ryan might answer as well. So we've been in the space for 10 years now, and in fact, those players emerged kind of alongside us during that time. So the key thing for us, and Ryan used the word physics, and I love that physics word here, because how a price change impacts your sales, right? That's the physics of your business. How monsoons affect your supply chain, that's the physics of your business. These are things that are not known to the language model. They're particulars of how you run your operation. And within AnswerRocket, we call those skills. And we make those skills available to the language model so that when it needs to know something, in order to support the user's question, it can ask us what those answers are, what those key facts are, and we can go extract them from the database, run the analysis, and then feed that information back into it. That's a core differentiation. Ryan, what would you add?
I think the unstructured piece is another huge differentiator for us in the market. A use case, one of our large customers is one of the biggest brewers in the world, and they have a whole bunch of information about their market performance, but they also have sales playbooks, right? They're very large. They have tried and true, if you see this, do this as a salesperson. So now, by feeding that in, the BI side can start to pull facts and say, we're seeing a trend downward for this KPI. Here's 4 recommendations based on your sales playbook that you developed, right? So a junior salesperson can get an answer and a recommendation at the same time.
How do you think about the ROI for using a product like this, and then tied to that, how much you can charge for it? I think one of the things that's tough about being the copilot for X is Copilot is not that expensive. They just have a massive install base. But how do you think about price points and then the value that users get and will pay for?
Yeah, it's a good question. So typically, our pricing is just standard. There's a cost for the AnswerRocket platform server, and there's a user seat license like you would expect any SaaS company, whether it's in our cloud or installed in our customers' VPC, leveraging their technology investments. A lot of when we talk about ROI, it becomes an efficiency play, right? If it takes me 2 weeks to answer this question today, what does that mean if I can answer it in 30 seconds, right? How much more can I do with that additional time? And what can my analysts be doing because now they've kind of opened up their backlog when it comes to ad hoc exploration and things like that.